Hey, you guys, it is Star, and of course, that's with Authentic Star, or that's buy a car from Star, Talking Tees dot shop. What's up? Wanted to make this video for mainly for my customers. I wanted to share a little bit about what my recent journey has been, and I have an announcement. So tune in, listen up. I got some news for you, got a little bit to share with you. Most have been clueless to what has been going on in the last months with me, and pretty much was supposed to. You guys weren't supposed to know. I think I stayed a little close to the Lord and stayed in and prayed and did a whole lot in order to really hear on my next move. And so, as you can see from the caption, I have resigned from Cannon Nissan of Jackson. No shade, none at all. It was time. And I just wanted to make sure that I shared that with my customers and with those who it mattered to, so that as people start to ask and questions about where I am and if they're calling the dealership for me, to know that I'm no longer there. And so that's this part of the journey. But you guys, I made the video mainly. I could have posted it. I mainly wanted to make the video because of the journey, because I think the journey is relevant to a lot of you as far as those who are interested in both business and keeping their career. Maybe starting side hustle or turning a side hustle into a business full time. And you have been wondering how to do that. And I honestly believe that I've gone through this journey for the last months for that reason. I do believe that my journey and this experience has been to help others. And so I just wanted to document that and then share a little bit with you guys and tell you about the exciting news that is coming up. So stay tuned for that. But this journey really started with the desire of an asking the Lord really clearly on what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm always asking that question. I'm always saying, hey, am I in the right place, doing the right thing with the right people? And so I really got started on that journey. It really could have almost been a year ago. I think made some decisions, some things that he told me to do. And I made those things, those changes probably a year ago. I started them back July, August of last year. And so I've been real strategic about what I've been doing in the last year. And I had some delays, of course. I don't call it delay, but of course, the passing of my father in December. And so that put a halt to it for a while, shifted my schedule at work, and also put a halt to some things business wise. And so, thus, taking it a year to complete this journey. I did think about it when I went back to work in February. Was I supposed to go back after my dad's passing? Was I supposed to change and shift at that point? And so I did question that, but like I said, and it has been, I've been in prayer about it a lot to see what the direction was. So anyway, so there were some things that my assignment was to put in place months ago, last year. And so I was looking into, some things, office, looking at the strength of the structure and formation of the business, making sure that I had all those things in place. Really was looking for some autopilot services in order to just make sure that the business could run on its own when it needed to. And then also I was making sure that anything I did business-wise, I did it on my own time. I did it in the evening, worked on things in the evening. Most of my clients knew that I would tell them, hey, I can work on this better on a Thursday because that was my day off from the dealership. And so I would get up early morning, stay up late nights, and then work mainly on my day off or the weekends on my business. I'll come back around to that in a minute as far as how to do that. But I do believe that it is just a time for those who are interested in adding to their income, whether it's time for you to come off of the 9 to 5, or it is to add just the additional income and you keep your 9 to 5, but there's a way to do this business. And I do believe a lot of people are on pause when it comes to that business because of trying to figure out how to do it. And so I've walked this journey a little bit. It may help a little bit, it may not, but I'm going to share that as well. But interesting because preparation is key. I think preparation is everything. Some things you may fall into, but I think if you have the opportunity, you make sure that you prepare for the business, you prepare, you make sure that your structure is sound, formation is strong. It's what the banks want to see as a business if you're going to be taken seriously. You want to make sure too that you consider all things, family, your schedule, what can you handle with a job, and how much do you want to do as far as business by itself. And so there are a lot of things to consider in preparation for the business. And I think you can get those things done and set yourself a goal over time to have those things done prior to you coming off the job or before you get started. You can make those preparations. But I think that's, let's see, we get into the next. I did make a few little notes because some things I just really want to hit. And I think I'll do a part 2 that is for the people who are generally just interested in starting the business and a few points that I made for that. I just want to share a little about the journey itself because, again, preparation came first. I didn't do this. I didn't resign out of emotion. I did not resign, force, any of that. It was time. And so with that, I was strategic about my days there. I was strategic about my time. I was strategic in doing, and I could have stayed, but if I'm looking at it, and I think this is a point to make, if I'm looking at my overall purpose, and I know that when I went to Cannon, I know that Cannon was a resource for me. And it has been well. I've done well in the car business. It has afforded me a really good income. I have no issues there. Would still work the car business, love the car business. Always would do something concerning transportation and negotiation. You guys know I still do that. And then vehicle location as well. You do that still. So none of that has changed. But I kept asking, what's my real purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? Who am I supposed to be doing that with? And so I didn't think that lifetime I would retire at a dealership. I know though that when I'm there, I've given my 100%. I think you guys know that as clients and customers. I think everybody that knows me know that my work ethic is 100%. I'm giving you my all when I'm there. I'm thinking of all kind of ideas that's going to bring in new clients, new customers, new business, new ideas, things that are going to help the customer, things that are going to help the dealership. So I'm giving 100%. So I think that's one of the points too, is when you are at the job, give the 100% at the job. And then when you change hats, give 100% to the business. And so I think it was just timing. So nonetheless, so I start putting things in place. I secured a building, an office, needed to restructure some things with the business as well. So address changed, location changed, all of that, put those things in place, right? And make sure my name, banking, a lot of things were already set up and in place. Had some things already, but I wanted to make sure it was solid. All right. And then with the new venture, some things I want to announce to you, I had to get those things together. So in moving forward, had those things already in place. But what happened is more of what I want to share about the journey, especially if you know what you're supposed to be doing and moving forward, then you know who you're called to, you know what you're called to do. And so some things you don't find them to just be coincidental that they happen along the journey. I think they're all part of the exit. And so taking from my notes, my journey of my exit began a few months ago, probably three to 4 months ago. But of course, like I said, preparation started over a year ago in July and August of last year. Now, I really do believe that I was supposed to have learned a whole lot out of this last quarter, and I did. This last quarter stretched me, it increased me, it enlarged me, it grew me, it matured me. I think all of that is needed for my next. I believe everything I went through is for my next, right? And so let me just say, while I was told and know I needed to stay put, it did take endurance. It took long suffering. It took trusting God to know of right timing, and Lord, it took obedience because I knew I needed to do it exactly like He was telling me to do it. Now, as I mentioned earlier about work and work schedule, and even in the preparation, I say this and write this down. This is important. Integrity is a key factor to have if you're thinking to transition out of the job, if you are looking to have a side hustle. Integrity is key. Integrity is everything. I didn't do my business or side hustle while on the job. If I had somewhere to run, I would do that on my lunch break. And I took care of business after hour and on the weekends. And so I did that on my off time, my time away from the dealership. I did that, but integrity is a key factor to have. And to me, when other people use tactics that are lowered and demeaning, you still have to protect your integrity. So everybody's not going to like that you do your job well. Everybody is definitely not going to like that you may even consider having a side hustle. Doesn't have to be your job's business. Everybody is not going to be okay with that, right? And so I say at all costs, protect your integrity because integrity is everything. And so I know that strongly I am supposed to be, I say, called in the workplace. I enjoy business. I know that that is part of my calling, part of my life, part of my purpose is business. And so I do believe that when I went through the journey, I do believe I went through it to help somebody else. I believe my story, it will encourage those who again know that they're on their current assignment, but they're looking to transition from that assignment to maybe their side hustle or their business. And so that I'm clear of, right? And so I think, again, it is to show the balance between the job and the business. Because when I do talk to people and we do a consult, I think that's the biggest challenge for most when I'm sharing or when they're sharing with me is splitting that time of how do I do the job or be very effective in my business. I don't have time to build the business. I don't have time to get the clients. I don't have time to do that. But I think there's a way to do that, to set it up. And then you'll know if that's something you want to move into full time. I think it's good to start it while you're working because it will help you if it's something that you would give up the job for, right? Do you believe in it enough to stop working the full-time job and move into business? Nonetheless, so again, I just don't think I went through that for nothing, passing some of these notes. But what happened one of the days, and this is why I knew it was coming to a end, right? And so one of the days I was at work and there was something said by one of the managers. And you guys, when I say that part was the hardest thing to receive on somebody's job, because I think I've always been, and I know I am and have been entrepreneur spirit all the time, my whole life. And so there was just something that was said that was very, very demeaning. It was very belittling. The way they said it to me even had just that slave mentality connotation to it. It was not good at all. And so I don't think from that day forward was I the same at the job. I love, love, love what I do. I looked forward to going to work. I looked forward to seeing my clients. I looked forward to working with others. I enjoy the whole car business, right? And so that kind of shifted me. But again, because of preparation, some things didn't throw me, but that incident did. And so that was one of the things that took me, and I went into deep prayer. I took days and I began to ask the Lord, all right, what are we doing here? Why are we still here? Why are we still going through this? What's going on? And then we saw some things that were deteriorating in the car business process, the whole or month to month. And so to me, I think when your money starts to look a little funny and your schedule's a little different and you normally are selling a number of cars and then all of a sudden that changes, you do have to go back to the drawing board and ask what's happening, what's happening to my stream of income, what's happening to my resource. I think that's important. You always got to go back and hit the refresh button to see, are you still in the right place doing the right thing with the right people?